Welcome to TerraFirmaCraft, a mod that I can only describe as incredibly fucking painful. Here's why. First, you run around, clicking the ground, trying to find any sticks or rocks because they are your life source at this point. Then, you need to make sure you have copper before you even decide if you're going to keep the world or not, because this is fucking essential. So, why do I think this mod is infuriating exactly? Well, it's because of the copper. You see, getting copper in regular Minecraft is really easy. All you gotta do is, look down and there's a giant vein of copper. But, in TerraFirmaCraft, the first copper you can get, you have to find lying on the ground. You can't go mining for it, because to make your first pickaxe, you need copper. So you have to find these things lying on the ground, and they are ridiculously annoying to find because they look exactly like 4 different types of ore and spawn exactly 10 times less. If you're lucky enough to find 10 nuggets of copper, which is really annoying, you then have to start making your tools, which you do by hitting rocks together. Yes, it's that kind of mod pack. But Aiden, we just watched you craft stone tools. Why don't you just make a stone pickaxe? That's the thing. You can't. That is the one tool, besides like a sword, I guess, that you just cannot craft using stones, and you need copper. It's so fucking infuriating. Then, if you manage to actually, get the copper you need to go run like a million blocks to a different biome that has a decent enough average rainfall, because there's a climate system that clay can spawn, and you gotta go dig in random holes under suspicious looking plants to get clay. Why did they do this? Because they hate you. That's why. That once you have the clay, it is then used to you mold it into things like small vessels to put the copper in, and, a pickaxe head mold to put the copper in. Once you have your unfired vessels and your unfired molds made of clay, you gotta dig a hole in the ground, put your stuff in the hole, and then you gotta cover it in flammable material and set it on fire using a fire starter. Once you've done this, you've successfully created yourself a pit kiln, and in 8 in-game hours, you'll finally have basic pottery. Don't get too excited though, because if you stop and read the documentation for too long while standing near a fire, sometimes you'll just catch fire because you forgot to clear out all the grass, and then you die. Then you respawn, run back to where you were, because thankfully you're not an idiot and have the coordinates of roughly where you died. And then breathe a sigh of relief as your copper is somehow still safe. Then you're going to want to take your newly fired vessel, and you're going to want to put your copper in there. Once you've done that, you're going to make another pit kiln and put it right back in there. This will, supposedly, melt the copper into a liquid state, at which point you can take it out of the vessel and pour it into your pickaxe head. I, however, am very stupid, and I left the vessel in the pit kiln for way too long. Long enough that the molten copper had cooled down and solidified within the vessel, which means I had to put it back in and redo the whole process. Once I did that, I was able to take the still molten copper and put my pickaxe head mold in the copper, allowing me to finally get a solid pickaxe head, which I struggled with for a little bit until I realized I had to put it in the crafting table to retrieve the pickaxe head. I know, I'm a little bit stupid, but it's also an odd mechanic. Once you finish that task, you can combine your copper pickaxe head with a twig to make your first pickaxe. And then you have to get the horrible realization that you now need more copper for the other types of tools. Isn't it fun. After going upstream in a river for quite some time, you run across a little boar friend, and you say, I'd like to punch you. He attempts to ram you, you dodge, and then your game lags, he rams you again, and he one-shots you. You are now dead. You then spend about 25 minutes hopelessly running around, seeing if you can find where you died, but to no avail, as your stuff is already despawned. At this point, it's been a pretty long day for you, and you just need to go to sleep. So, you turn up your render distance, and you say to chat, well, chat, enjoy the view.